Hey guys, and thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, I'm Kelly. This is KBellaBeauty. I hope that you'll consider subscribing before you go. But today's video is going to be another one in my top 5 series, and this is going to be the top 5 eyeshadows for beginners. So if you're interested in hearing what I picked out, go ahead and keep on watching. I started a top 5 series, I want to say like last summer, and I'll link the playlist up above if you're interested in checking it out. But I also wanted to film videos that were specific for beginners, and the reason being is I have a lot of friends and family members who like to watch my videos who literally don't know a lot about makeup, and so my niece actually suggested to me, like, why don't you film some videos that are geared toward beginners? So I decided that I would look through my own personal collection and kind of pick out the top 5 eyeshadows that I think would be a good investment for people who are new in makeup and just starting out. I did choose a couple high-end and a couple that were more affordable options, so let's go ahead and jump right in. My first pick is one that I actually didn't think of off the top of my head, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. Now this palette didn't come to mind right away when I was thinking of palettes that I love and that I use all the time. However, when I did first start getting into more high-end eyeshadow palettes, this was one of my first purchases, and I used this eyeshadow a ton. You can see I did hit pan on the shade Foxy, but I also have dents in every single one of these shades except for the black shade. And this palette was definitely a go-to for me, for the reason being that it's your neutral shades. So you have a nice shimmery brow bone inner corner shade, or you can put it all over the lid. You have some shades that are just more neutral if you're looking for just a basic lid shade or to set your eyeshadow primer. And then of course you have some browns to deepen up the crease, and it just gives you like a basic everyday eye. And so I reached for this palette a lot when I was first starting out, and it's a nice palette to travel with too. You get a nice mirror and you can just kind of create your simple everyday looks. So this palette can be found at Ulta, and it's only $29. So it is high-end, but it is reasonable in the sense that you are getting 6 eyeshadows for $29. My next eyeshadow palette is not drugstore, but it is affordable, and it is by Morphe brushes. Now this particular palette is the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, and you can no longer get this palette. However, Morphe does have a ton of eyeshadow palettes just like this. They have the 35O, which is super popular, and it's their warm tone shades. They also have like the 35T, which I think are more taupey shades. I'm pretty sure the 35R, if I'm remembering correctly, is one of their newer ones that has a lot of bronzy shades, and you get 35 shadows. This one just has 28, but the 35s are really nice because you get 35 eyeshadows for only $22.99. And you can also use a coupon code. A lot of influencers like Jaclyn Hill, Manny MUA, Laura Lee, they all have codes that save you. I think it's only like 10% off or something like that. But if you want to save like $3 and get it shipped for free, then you're getting a lot of eyeshadows for a really good price. But the only downside is there's not a Morphe store in every state. I'm pretty sure the only Morphe store is the one in California. So you have to go online to morphebrushes.com and check out the palettes for yourself, but you get a lot of shades for a really reasonable price. Now I kind of cheated on this next palette and I doubled up, and I'll tell you why. I chose the Lorac Pro Palettes. I have both the Lorac 1 and the Lorac 2 Pro Palettes, and I used these a ton when I first got them. I don't reach for them so much anymore, but I still really do like to travel with them. I just have so many palettes that I try to like use all of them and give them all my attention. So sometimes these guys who were old faithfuls kind of get pushed to the back burner. Now both of these are $44 each. They can be found at Ulta Beauty, and it does come with an eyeshadow primer. The reason why I have both of them to show you is because I recommend just getting one if you're a beginner, but looking at the tones that you like. So the Lorac Pro 1 definitely has a lot more warm toned shades. You have a whole top row of mattes and then a bottom row of shimmers. You have everything from your browns and your mauves to some golds, and then some deeper tones if you want to create a smoky eye. But this palette definitely got a lot of love for me when I first picked it up. The Lorac Pro 2, on the other hand, has still some warm shades, but a lot more cooler toned shades as well. Again, the whole top row is mattes and the whole bottom row is shimmers, but this time you still do have your neutral browns, but you also have some purples, you have a blue, you have some cool toned shades with chrome and silver, a charcoal shade, jade, cocoa. So you can create a variety of looks with this one, and this one incorporates more color than the Lorac Pro 1. And actually, when I picked this palette up, the 2 is what I like better over the Lorac Pro 1, but I have a lot of friends who really enjoy the original palette, but these are also a really good bang for your buck. It does come with a little bit of a higher price tag of $44, but you do get a ton of shades to choose from. And if you're a beginner and you're just looking for one solid palette that you can go to, these are really good options for the simple fact that they have both mattes and shimmers. The next palette that I want to mention to you, I don't actually have in my collection anymore, but I will insert a picture of it here, and it is drugstore, it is affordable, and it is the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. I did have the Comfort Zone palette, but I actually gifted it to my niece, London, when she was living with us and she was getting into makeup more and more. And the reason why I like that eyeshadow palette is because you do have some bronzy shades, you do have some green shades, you can create a variety of looks, but it's also only $4.99, and you can find Wet n Wild at any drugstore basically, CVS, Walgreens. I think I've seen them at Kroger, H-E-B if you live in Texas. You can also go to your Walmart and get Wet n Wild as well. And if you're not into the Comfort Zone palette, Wet n Wild just has a lot of really good eyeshadow palettes anyway. They have some trios that I think are like $3 or something like that. They have Walking on Eggshells is really popular, but the Wet n Wild eyeshadows are really great for beginners because you do get a cheaper price point and you get to try out some really good quality products. That brings us to my fifth and final choice for my top 5 eyeshadow palettes for beginners. And once again, I kind of cheated a little bit because it's not a pre-made palette, but it is my Makeup Geek eyeshadow palette. Now, I do not suggest a beginner going out and getting a large Z palette like this and picking out tons of Makeup Geek eyeshadows, but Makeup Geek eyeshadows are some of my favorites, and it's a customizable palette. So I think they have, well, they do have several bundles, but I think they have a smaller Z palette that holds 9 shades, and so you can pick out the 9 shades that you like the best, you can put them in a Z palette, and that can be your go-to palette as well. The price point for Makeup Geek, the regular eyeshadows and the duochromes are $6, and then the foiled shades, which are like these ones down here that give you more of like a foiled shimmer look on your eyes, are $10. And I do have a whole video of my Makeup Geek eyeshadow collection with swatches and everything, so if you're interested in checking out Makeup Geek eyeshadows, I'll link that video above, and I suggest watching that video and seeing some swatches before going ahead to Makeup Geek Cosmetics and making a purchase. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy my top 5 picks for beginners. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload 2 videos a week. I'm kind of playing with my days right now, but I do have one that goes up in the middle of the week, usually like Tuesday, Thursday, and then I'm kind of playing around with the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, seeing what works best for me and my viewers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.